Very, very good. I think it's really well deserved, right? Very, very nice. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, as we just finished a live stream of happiness, peace, and prosperity with the upcoming version 3.4 update for honkaistarrail, unfortunately, we are once again plunged into the battle zone, plunged into the war field of Honkai Starbucks tier list. You can play TIERLIST on PC, by the way. Okay, in any case, let's take a look at what exactly happened, because I have been told that huge meta updates has occurred for the pure fiction as well as APOC shadows specifically, right? So without further ado, well, what is the change? It's for pure fiction and APOC, right? Oh wait, it's just pure fiction and APOC, right? It's just pure vision and APOC. Okay, so MOC didn't change. Okay, MOC didn't change. Okay, so let's take a look at pure fiction first. Whoa! The omnipotent casterist. Omnipotent 000. Alongside with Yahya taking into tier 0 as well. 000. 000. Absolute cinema. The Quadra 000 team. Oh, Jade was never 000 anyways. The Harda is still chilling. Nexa actually getting a tier 0.5 bump up into pure fiction for both a main DPS as well as a support DPS. The amplifier category actually had every single support going down, and Mimi is the only tier 0 support in pure fiction. Wow, a free unit, by the way. Absolute cinema. Lingsha is no longer 000. Yeah, Lingsha is no longer. Oh my god, the fuke. All the way down to tier 1, guys. Oh, chat, do you guys remember this video? There was this video from last time. Oh my god. 5 months ago. Almost 100,000 views, by the way. Infinite follow-up. Look at this. Look at this Himeko follow-up attacks. Infinite follow-up attacks. Oh, those were the days, guys. And those were the days with the power of Fugue. Oh my god, though. Insane follow-up. And she's still going. Yep. Those were the days last time, right? Those were the days last time. Unfortunately, that day has passed because she's now tier 1. So it is what it is. Cypher in tier 1. Kreba has dropped down into tier 1 as well, alongside with Jingyuan, acheron. Agalea is the same tier as Blade and My Day. In fact, Blade has become a support DPS going into tier 1.5 across the board. Pre-buff, by the way. Very, very interesting. Ting Yun fell all the face of planet Earth. Himeko, who is she? And Yun Li is gonna be tier 2 as. Wait, where is. Oh. Ooh. DOT is coming though. DOT is coming, right? The most important thing is DOT is coming. Come. She is coming, right? Because next patch, we are finna get the DOT upgrade. I think if not for Black Swan going up, I think Kafka should the bare minimum go up as well, right? So I think DOT is coming. Everyone else, I think, is just not really to anyone's surprise, you know. No right elements, you know, no right coverage. Super Braid is just not really doing too good as well. Even with Rabbi's guy, a little bit sus. I'm quite surprised Argenti main DPS is still a thing. Perhaps I was misguided, right? I just, you know, I mean, it's not that bad. But yeah. that is going to be the update for Pure Fiction. I'll take a look into the changelogs after we take a look and see what Apocalyptic Shadow has to offer over here. Holy shit, though, that is a lot of tier 0s, guys. That is a shit ton of tier... bro, look at Fei Xiao being the only motherfucker from version 2. The only version 2 tier 0. That's my wife right there. That's my wife right there, right? She might not be popping off too hard in Pure Fiction, but that is the only version 2 DPS that can brace the rank of tier 0. Absolutely insane in Apocalyptic Shadows, right? Now we can see, you know, Anexa, Cypher, Prydwen, very, very good. I think Cypher's mechanics, right, the way that you can just store the charges and making it for very, very nice for APOC. This remains relatively unchanged. Then Hyang is just going to be Hyang over here, right? Then tier 0.5. So all the break DPS are going to be at tier 0.5. Mighty and Aglaia chilling at tier 0.5 as well. Everything else here didn't... okay, I don't think the support category, or rather the sustain category, got too much of a difference. It's just that Hyacinth is so goddamn synergistic with Caceres that everyone else, if you want to compare like performance to performance, just doesn't really feel as much of a booms compared to the Hyacinth plus Caceres combo. And even if you're not going to be using Hyacinth with Caceres, the fabled Tricycle 1, Tricycle 2, Tricycle 3. I am pretty sure you can just use this Tricycle team for like any sort of content in HSR right now. So the de facto tier 0 going to fat fuck. Very, very good. I think it's pretty well deserved, right? Very, very nice. Oh. Damn. Oh. Okay. The only tier 1 DPS in Apocalyptic Shadows. This is considering getting a full ultimate refund, by the way, from like the Apocalyptic Shadow breaking. I would say though, Silver Wolf will almost certainly skyrocket Acheron's performance, because Silver Wolf has always been quite decent in APOC. Because of like how much more toughness bar you're gonna be dealing by spamming your ultimates as well as your skill, right? Implanting winners and all that, right? So I think Silver Wolf will actually save Acheron with this one. It is not gonna be something that Jiao Qiu is gonna be able to save, but I think Silver Wolf will drastically improve Acheron's performance with this. I'm not sure if we are gonna be removing Jiao Qiu or Cypher, but one of them is tier 0 and one of them is tier 0.5. So the writing is on the wall, right? It is what it is, right? Okay, so that is gonna be that for Acheron, dropping down a tier into tier 1, no longer gonna be the Apex character. Blade has actually closed the gap. He has closed the gap with Argenti, Himeko, Yunli, and Jingyuan has dropped down from tier 1 to tier 1.5. Now, I'm not even gonna lie, I think this is done because if they... Bro, can you imagine Acheron and Jingyuan being the same tier? I think the world will spiral into chaos. It will be World War III for HS or community, right? So I don't think they want to do that. They don't want a war on their hands. So Prydwen actually just bumped Jingyuan down so that Acheron is just like slightly above tier, because otherwise it's gonna go crazy, right? And anyways, Blade went up a little bit in the sub DPS thingy. Mainly it's just for Caceres, right? No one else really cares about the Blade as a sub DPS that much. And then we can see tier 2 not too big of a change over here, and then tier 3 also not too big of a change. So the main difference is basically Acheron fell off, Hyacinth went up, and then Gap got a little bit more of an improved rating, right? So yeah, let's take a look at what the changelog itself has to say over here. Holy shit, that is a lot of changelogs. Since some blah 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 are not being made with those buffs included, so yep, absolutely the week after it's gonna be a crazy ass week, guys. I think we're gonna pump out like 10 videos a day or some shit, right? Because we are gonna have a lot of things. I hope that I have now time to cover through everything before I retire from streaming for a while, but it is what it is. Okay, the Acheron of Veracity Ika Akem. Bro thinks it's funny. Hyacinth has shown she's a step above the competition by dominating endgame in almost. She's top partner for some of the strongest streamer X cards, while also being playable with many more. Based on this, we are killing the sustain category. Ika has single-handedly destroyed the sustain category. Wait, I don't think anyone else is tier 0 anymore, right? Oh, that's crazy. Bro, just give it time, guys. I feel like after you give it some time, these two, they are not gonna stay here for long as well. She will be the only tier 0 sustain in all 3 endgame. and you just look at Ika's fat fucking face. That is the face of someone that killed the entire sustain cast. So it is what it is, right? Anyways, in pure vision, blah, 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 we'll address MOC. Okay, you might as well just say we're killing them. We're killing Huan Huan and Lingsha immediately. Because that's gonna happen, right? It's just that right now they are trying to like cover the fucking wound, right? The wound that is like spread and festering with like rot and everything, and like, it's gonna happen. So might as well just rip off the band-aid and just say, yep, Huan Huan and Lingsha, they're dying next patch, and Hyacinth is gonna be the only triple tier 0 in the sustain carry. So that's gonna be that. Let's go over to pure fiction. DBS. Global Passive has shown over multiple phases she's capable of scoring incredibly well in pure fiction endgame. Acknowledge she's not quite a tier of D Herda, but she also a step above those in tier 0 without leaving her a beam in both. Despite this, we are raising her to tier 0 because she's closer to D Herda than Anessa. I think that's very, very fair. If she loses her age, expect to make her. I don't think this is happening. You know why? Because wheelchair exists. Even if casuals don't pop off, Tribi, Hyacinth, Cypher, boom, clean up the entire mobs completely fine, right? So I don't think that's gonna be happening. And I assume Nexa going up by a little bit, moving tier 0 in both support as well as DPS, certainly did a little bit with the loss of his release buff. Not enough that we are willing to keep in tier 1. So Nexa deserves his spot in tier 0.5. I think Nexa is okay. It's just that wave 1 is where he struggles a little bit, especially if you don't have keep support. If you do have Teep to help him manage out his wave 1 a little bit, by wave 2 and wave 3, he can start to stabilize again. But you really need a Teep in the next category. So that's gonna be that. Brappa! Ooh. The past 2 phases of pure fiction has not been kind to Rappa, with even her sustainless teams struggling to produce APOCs, guys. Sustainless, guys. This combined with other characters moving further is why we're killing Rappa. I feel like it's really not just Rappa. It's just like the entire Super Break archetype as a whole has started to dip, man. And I think that it's about time, right? I've talked about this like extensively. Are y'all not tired of Super Break? Bro, I am so tired of Super Break, bro. Like, it's time to just let them rest. Let them go into their retire. It's time to go to bed, Unk and Aunts, right? It's time to go to bed and let other people play for a little bit, because Super Break has been a thing for so goddamn long. It's nothing to do with Rappa specifically, but it's just that, yeah, it's time to move up. Time to move up, right? How dare you retire my whole team? Get another team, right? It's just that easy. Agleia, we're following through on the story accurate. Blade continues to exceed expectations in the HP meta alongside Caceres with a dedicated damage like Hyacinth. Bro, Blade is gonna be tier 1 soon, guys. Blade is gonna be in the same tier or even above Agleia as a version 1 DPS post buff. Truly the bone of my blade, the blade of my bone, the blade of my blade, and the bone of my bone. This guy's glow up needs to be studied. Actually, absolutely insane. From the guy that is literally getting memed on for the unreachable side of 10 cycle swift dispatch, to now standing shoulders to shoulders with what once used to be the apex of the category. Truly a unit of all times, ladies and gentlemen. Truly a unit of all times. Very, very good. My Day is currently similar to Blade, taking advantage, allowing us to perform a little bit. I think that's fine. Not too sure how it's gonna be like after Blade goes on to the buffs, but we'll see. Himeko and Yun Li. Oof. It is what it is. Black. Okay, she's coming. She's coming, right? Kafka is coming. Kafka is coming for now. A hasty reascent, a re-arise may be in store for both in 3.4. I think that is absolutely fair, right? For both the DOT team, they will most likely going to be seeing huge buffs, especially since we already see the details with regards to the nurse and the buffs going forward, right? Not nurse, buffs. Okay, support DPS. Okay, Cypher is Cypher. So that Amplifier. Barbin and Sunday. This time, Barbin and Sunday, they are victims of Mimi's absolute dominance in pure fiction. Both characters retain a strong position in the meta and have taught teams alongside one or multiple. They just aren't quite as dominant right now anymore. And with the 2 new destruction characters and 1 new hunt characters, it's possible they may return. Yeah, I don't know about that. We'll see though. We'll see, right? Because maybe Vinon might be a pure vision beast and then he brings out Sunday. But we'll see. Alright. Fuke. Same thing for Super Break. It is what it is. Adios. Ting Yun. Yo, she's getting a buff soon, right? Yeah, surely. Bro, imagine if they buff 4 stars. I think that would be an absolute power play from HSR. Buffing 4 stars, bro. Buff Natasha. Buff Pitch Dark Hook the Great, right? Buff Ting Yun, buff Pella, buff Yukong, buff Hanya, buff Asta. That would be kind of crazy. We'll see if that happens in the future, maybe in 4.0. But in any case, that is gonna be the pure vision changelogs. We are now gonna move into APOC Shadows. Acheron has been outperformed in the lightning niche over the last 3 phases by Aglaia. Not 1, not 2, the last 3 phases, while also falling below the performance of other characters in 0.5. Based on this, we are adjusting her rating down for now. Okay, but what if Silver Wolf brings her back up? I like how there wasn't even a mention of like the potential where acheron might go up, because they literally said the same thing for DOT, right? They literally said the same thing for DOT. So what if Silver Wolf brings back up acheron is what I'm trying to say. Alright, so I think there's a possibility. Jing Yuan. Adios. Blado. Same thing. Big bump up, right? So with that, we have come to the end of the pure fiction and APOC Shadow update before the biggest patch in HSR history. So the title of this video editor, we're just gonna call it Big Fat Changes. Splendid. And then show Ika in the thumbnail. Big fat changes. Then Prydwen, APOC, and Pure Fiction version 3.4 or 3.3 update, right? So that's gonna be that. Me personally, I think it's a little bit early to tell with definitive, conclusive evidence because of the absolutely insane amount of changes that we're gonna be getting in 3.4. So consider this as like you know, like Epic 7 is like pre-season. These are like a pre-season tier list updates with regards to PF, APOC, as well as even MOCI pre-season, because 3.4 is like the start of Summer Rank 2025, right? It's the start of HSR Rank 25, because that is when the biggest changes are going to be taking place, because we are literally going to be getting 7 brand new units within the game itself. So these are like pre-season tier lists. I'll just take it as a, just take it as a little bit more of a phase. Yeah, it's a league pre-season, right? So 3.4 is the actual start of the rank season, right? So that is where my attention will be a lot more focused. For now, I think outside from the potential units that might see a bit of changes, such as Blade, Jing Liu, Kafka, and Silver Wolf, the most definitive, yes, is gonna be Hyang Hyang. Alright, she's the most definitive, resounding, whether or not they're gonna be receiving changes, whether or not final is gonna be taking place. Saber Archer, I think without a shadow of a doubt, because of her dominance alongside with casuals in all of the endgame content, she's gonna be a definitive 0/0/0, right? Because none of the changes, they are gonna be tied to a sustain class, right? We're not gonna be getting preservation, we're not gonna be getting DPS, only we're gonna get another abundance anytime soon. So this is why I think this is the most solid placing out of everybody else, right? All of these other DPSs, they may or may not shift simply from the introduction of brand new DPS, rework DPS, brand new supports, rework supports, everything else. So I would see how 3.4 itself has to offer. So with that, we have come to the end of this tier list update. Word of the day is gonna be pre-season. Join Twitch, join Discord, join. Use code both of them off games. Use code both of them. Guys, time.